Hey guys, what's up? It's Mr. Galaxy Star crashing into you guys with yet another episode. Today we have a lot of news to cover, so let's get right into it. First up, Destiny. Destiny is going to be giving us so much. I watched the Twitch stream today, and there is just so much more for us to get into, including they're going right back to giving us primary elemental weapons. But there's a catch, they're going to be exotic. So your Fatebringer and your good grief, I'm still kind of wigging out about it because it's amazing. We have been fighting these enemies for so long, we've been using all of these weapons for so long, and now everything is finally being brought up to the highest light level, and they're returning a lot of old favorites. So the Fatebringer is getting its elemental effect back, but in order for you to use the elemental effect, it is going to take up an exotic slot. Now, I personally feel that this is a good trade-off because it's just bringing back elemental primers, which is something that the community has been asking for a lot, and they're listening to us, which is something that's really, really cool to see. But it's interesting that we're going to have to sacrifice that exotic for it. I'm very curious to see how it's going to pan out in PvP and in the Crucible. It'll be very interesting to see how Iron Banner comes around, and it'll be really cool to see how some of the Nightfalls work with some of the burns, and it's just something that is near and dear to my heart. I'm wearing my Destiny Nepal shirt today. It's something that's really cool to see. The armor, guys, it is overflowing with just trophy amount of amazingness, because now it's you've been fighting the Vex, and it's almost as if you've been fighting them, and through it you've gained damage, and your Guardian is falling apart, so he's rebuilding himself with a lot of Vex body parts. So the Hunter, her entire leg has been replaced with Vex leg. The Warlock from his knees downs are Vex, and the Titan has a big shield behind his head that doesn't actually shield you from damage, but it still looks amazing. And my personal favorite, the Vex Mythoclast, is making its debut back. It's still going to be just as mean as it was back in the old days, which means that could we be seeing a nerf or a buff when it comes to fusion rifles? Not too sure. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave the Destiny. I know there's a lot of Destiny requests, but again, guys, there's so many other channels that cover that. I'm trying not to just stick to one game. Anyway, another great thing that is huge for me is Pokemon Go. Something that actually might bring me back into the game. We're getting trading, guys. Trading is something that the community has been based in since day one, all the way back in Red and Blue, when we all had the trade cables. Oh god, the trade cables, and how many times did I lose a Pokemon because he would pull out or I would pull out, and that sounds really bad, but the cable would fall out, and you would lose Pokemon. And then finally it went over to when you had the Game Boy Advance and you had that little wireless hub thing that would plug in, and then you could trade like that, and then now you've got the Wander trade. We're going all the way back to exactly how it used to be. In order for you and your friends to be able to trade, you must be next to each other. So I'm not entirely sure whether it's gonna have to be like a Bluetooth or it's gonna be like an infrared trade. Not entirely sure how it's gonna work, but there will be no global trading yet. I'm hoping that this is something that they will introduce, especially whereas you've got some of those area-specific Pokemon like Farfetch'd, and I know they didn't want people using those GPS hacks, so I'm hoping that something will come around that will allow us to trade on the global scale, especially with area-specific Pokemon. The creator did confirm that this year we will see legendary Pokemon. There is no date, there is no event, there's no nothing yet. He is just continuing to tease us with the fact that there will be legendary Pokemon. And he said that these will be the first gen and second gen. So the following is coming in. So Mew, Mewtwo, Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, Entei, Suicune, Raikou, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Celebi. And really, guys, like, that is a lot of legendaries to put in all at once, and I'm hoping that these are not just going to be event-based Pokemon. There have been a couple of really interesting theories out there, like there's still the legendary item theory that we're going to play around with Pokestops and stuff like that, and as you spin, you'll get a certain amount of items that are related to a legendary Pokemon. Once you get to a certain amount, then the next Pokemon that you'll see will be the legendary Pokemon. You can attempt to catch him. If you don't, then you have to re-get all the items again. And I do like this theory because it brings us back to the old days when Dude, the very first time we saw Mewtwo or either one of the legendary birds, we got up to them, you would save your game, you'd go into a battle, you'd accidentally kill him, he'd wipe all your Pokemon, you shut your Game Boy off, you go back in, and you do it all over again. I like this theory because it's very plausible and it's very realistic, and it's something that I can see being implemented very, very easily. So keep your fingers crossed, guys, for this to be something that's not going to be stuck behind a money wall or anything like that. And I really hope this is the process of Niantic starting to listen to the Pokemon community. Anyway, guys, next story that we're covering is Dark Souls. Dark Souls has been a great part of my life. I have dumped too many hours into this game, and I have become pretty much of a deadly force out there. Dark Souls 3 is about to issue its last DLC, and unfortunately, guys, this is gonna be it. There's gonna be nothing left in the Dark Souls franchise. So if you've played from Demon Souls up until now, then this is it. This is how we get to say goodbye. But after watching a couple of the reviews and some of the previews that have been going on with it, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I know I liked watching IGN cover some of the stuff that was going on it, and it just seems to have so much in it. I know me and my friend Samus cannot wait to dive into it. We love wearing the brothers' armor and using their swords, the Holy Sword and the Chaos Fire Greatsword. They're just too much fun to go in, especially when you've got a really good friend to go up against. The last boss is going to be 2 demonic brothers, and once you slay the one, obviously the other one gets harder, and then the last one turns into the demonic prince, which is going to refill his entire health bar and make him even harder. Anyway, guys, those of you who are part of the anime community, I have a huge story for you that is really something that's actually blew me away. Those of you who remember the anime released back, oh good grief, I want to say it was 2012 or 2013, called No Game No Life. We got 1 season of it, and then it was canceled due to some copyright issues where the characters were literally copy and pasted from another anime, and there was a whole huge brawl over that. Now, how this is happening, I'm not entirely sure, but the original writer has now redrawn and redesigned the story that now he is able to bring it back this summer. Now, it's going to be coming out in July. It's something that I'm really surprised about because of how big the legal battle was, but it's something I'm really looking forward to, and I know Serena is the one that absolutely fell in love with it, and when I told her the bad news that it wasn't coming out, it literally broke her heart. It broke my heart too. But now to see that it's coming out, there's a whole brand new cast except for Shiro. Shiro is still going to have the same voice, but a lot of the other ones have already been replaced. Anyway, continuing on, guys, a little bit of sad and slightly angering news. The state of Alabama, along with Kuwait, have issued that Beauty and the Beast is not the entire state of Alabama, I should say that certain drive-in theaters have said that Beauty and the Beast will not be able to be shown due to a strictly first time ever gay character being shown in Beauty and the Beast. Now, there's only one scene where you're able to see that that person's gay, there's no sex or anything involved, but it's sad that they're just completely banning it in Kuwait, and that I understand Alabama's part of the Bible Belt and stuff like that. Again, what you practice is what you practice, but if it's something that's going to be protected by free speech, it should not be something that's going to be squalled just because it has to have something that's in cahoots with it. Now, I know the LGBT community, LGBTQ, sorry, want to be politically correct, is very upset by this, and it's something that does, no one group of people should ever be targeted when it comes to whether it's entertainment or beliefs or anything like that. So it is slightly sad to see. I hope it is something that can be fixed easily, because obviously there are gay people who are in Alabama who are already up in arms about the fact that they're banning the movie from the theaters, and it will be kind of interesting to see how many theaters follow suit. Now, obviously a theater has every right to show what movies it wants and what movies it doesn't want, but I guess the reasoning behind it is where all of that line gets a little befuddled. But anyway, the last story that we have today, guys, is that Disney is being sued by a man named Gary L. Goldman, who worked on Big Trouble in Little Tokyo, Total Recall, and the Minority Report. Supposedly back in 2000 and in 2009, he presented Zootopia to Disney. Now, in all of this, he presented a story that was supposed to be based in an animal universe where all the animals are walking, talking, having jobs and stuff like that, and it was supposed to show America for what it is. And Disney's counter to his lawsuit is saying that our story is different because our story is about prejudice that is existing in today's world through the eyes of a bunny who is trying to make it big, as any small town girl would be trying to be making it big in a big city. So they're saying that it's different because it's different. Now, unfortunately, this kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I was someone who was supporting, I don't know if you guys remember this, I don't know how many of you guys actually seen it, but back before Candy Crush came out, there was a man who made a game called Candy Swap. Now, this game was being made so that way he could help pretty much support his mother's cancer payments that had to be done to help keep her well in the hospital, and he figured what great way to do it than to bring his own art form into helping out his mother. And unfortunately, he made a game that a larger company fell in love with and made the game quicker than he could and copyrighted it and made it so that way his game was sunk and there was nothing he could do. Now, whether this is something Disney actually did or not, I don't know. It's something that unfortunately a lot of big companies will take advantage of things that are good and tweak it just a little bit and haha, now it's mine. So where this will go, I will watch it and monitor it. I'm not entirely sure. I would feel that a writer that is as big as he is, that has been able to make some bigger movies, would not be taken advantage of, but I guess there's really no protection against that. Dirty humans are dirty humans. Anyway guys, that's all we have time for today, and remember, if you like the content that's coming out, please hit that subscribe button and share with your friends, comment, and again guys, keep sending those messages in to help cover more stories. And for right now guys, this is Mr. Galaxy Star signing out. I will see you in the next video.